Sign Julio Jones right now. I'm gonna tell y'all. Julio Jones is an absolute steal for the Ravens. Out of the guys who are free agents right now, I mean, Jarvis is a good one. But I gotta tell you, there's just something about Julio Jones that just ain't sitting right with me and makes me think the Ravens need to sign him. What is going on, good people? Back at it again. Still checking my phone, trying to figure out what this news is. There was something that happened. Oh yeah, Mike Davis got signed today. We'll talk about that. Maybe we might. I mean, it's an offensive related video, so we'll probably end up talking about it. What is going on, good people? Flock Nation Speaks, episode 6. This is the first podcast I've done where I actually kept up with the number of podcasts that I was doing. So it was kind of interesting. Patrick Queen, shout out to Patrick Queen. I'm gonna try to dive deep, which there wasn't a lot of number 6s back in the day. I feel like now with being able to have singular numbers and all that, you get a little bit more of that. But anyway, DJ here from Bill Productions, definitely coming at you with another episode of Flock Nation Speaks. Missed y'all already. It ain't been but a week, but I still missed y'all. It's been a lot of fun. And I was adjusting a Twitter space, trying to rush through the Twitter space to get to this, so I could do the podcast for this week. But I've been looking at these wide receivers, man. That's what I want to talk about today. These wide receivers, I think it's a big thing. Last week was the draft. Week before I didn't have nothing, so I made up the Mount Rushmore, right? I feel like it's these wide receivers this week, man. These wide receivers, especially considering post-draft, you see Hollywood Brown gets traded. What does that do for the number one wide receiver position, or is that position already filled for the Ravens? I think it is. I think with Rashad Bateman, right? I think that position is already filled. I don't think we need to worry. I don't think we need to worry about wide receiver 1. I think wide receiver 1 is already filled. Now, it would be nice to have another big body out there, like even in that Twitter space that it's talking about the AFC North and all that. And I'm like, I just want to see the Ravens utilize their guys. I could care less. I don't care if James Prochet drops every ball you throw at him. I don't care if Devin Duvernay drops every ball you throw at him. I don't care if Rashad Bateman drops every ball you throw at them. I build confidence in these guys this season, because we all know that's not going to happen, right? They're not going to drop every ball you throw at them. But I'm saying, give them some opportunities. Give them some opportunities that we're not used to, the jump ball, like the ability to go after the football. Like, I think that's going to be huge this season, and I think I want to see it a little bit more, right? I think, once again, and we talked about it in the depth chart last week, right? I think right now, wide receiver, I think we're one receiver away. And I'm not going to say one permanent receiver away, right? I'm going to more so say I think we're at least one temporary receiver away. I think they're always going to have, this is the opportunity, to me, this is the opportunity for the Ravens to continue to elevate themselves, right? Last year, we saw some maturation with this offense. And I mean, it was out of absolute desperation and force. I feel like I don't know if it's necessarily what they wanted to do. They were forced to grow up in a way that I think maybe they weren't ready for, or maybe I think they were ready for it, but I think at the same time, I think the Ravens were forced to, add a new wrinkle, add more of that wrinkle, right? They've been passing the ball regardless, but add more of that wrinkle into the offense. I think that's been huge. So for me, my biggest thing, and also, with all the drops, we got to knock on the wood to make sure that everything is good. We don't want that to happen. But for real though, I think the Ravens are one receiver away. Let me pull it up real quick so you guys can see for my video audience, at least, the wide receivers that's on the docket right now, right? I mean, there's plenty, right? There's plenty of options still. There's plenty of good options, right? You got T.Y. Hilton, Will Fuller, Jarvis Landry, Odell, Valdez-Scantling, I think is still out there, and Julio. And I personally think, this is my opinion, I think Julio is a steal. Julio Jones is a steal right now. And the reason, and I've been saying this for weeks, and the reason I feel like that is, at first when he got cut by Tennessee, I was the same way. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was with y'all. On this. I felt the same way. I'm like, why the heck did he get cut from Tennessee? What is Tennessee doing? I mean, you signed him to a pretty good contract considering, and then you're gonna cut him right after that. I mean, and then the writing started to be on the wall, right? AJ Brown gets traded from Tennessee. And I'm like, okay, I see what they're doing now. They going, and then they draft Malik Willis out of Liberty, and I was like, okay, they gonna go full rebuild on us now. So the reason that's important is Julio really at fault, right? In that regard, right? Julio had some injuries last season, right? He had some games where he was a little iffy at times, I feel like, but I still think Julio still got it, right? I really do, man. I really do. I feel like Julio still has something left in the tank. I know he started 10 games last year and only had 400 yards, and I get that, right? I get that, but Julio Jones is Julio Jones. I'll probably die on this hill of saying if you don't have talent, right? If you don't have talent, I'm gonna die on this hill. If you don't have talent, bring Jerry Rice in because he's Jerry Rice, right? Now, I know that's a little hyperbolic, right? That's probably not the way you should go. But I think an older receiver, an older veteran receiver that might be on the back end of his career is far better than no receiver at all, right? You can never have too much. And if the Ravens are going to continue to go with this veteran first mentality of we got to have veterans, right? We got to have we got to go after the veteran guys instead of investing in the future, then that's fine. Make sure you picking up quality talent. That's my biggest thing. Make sure you picking up quality talent. And when I look at it, like T.Y. is good. I'm good with T.Y., right? I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm good with T.Y. They had a chance at T.Y. last year. But, I mean, T.Y. just as injury prone as all of them. Like, if we look at this list, everybody's got kind of their caveats except for Valdez-Scantling. He's been the only one that's been relatively healthy. He kind of broke onto the scene last year. Probably even say the last 2 years, right? I think there's more so Lazard the last 2 years. But even with Valdez-Scantling, I think he's relatively unproven because he's had one good year and now he's hitting the free agent market. So let's see what happens. And that's all you really need, right? Is one good year for somebody to take a chance on you. I think the youth aspect is on their side if they can go after Valdez-Scantling. But it depends on how you go about this. Or here's my thing. You can go after Valdez-Scantling, but I think he's a little more unproven. You can go after a guy like Julio, but you got the injury concern. Somebody had brought it up. Miss Gina had brought it up in the space, and she was like, hey, I don't want somebody like Sammy, right? Sammy did some good things early on in the season, but then got injured and can never really recover from that. So I can understand that too, right? And I think when you look at it, having T.Y., having Odell is another one out there that that has his injury issues, and he coming off a fresh ACL tear too in the Super Bowl, so it's going to take him a little bit longer to recover. I think, and he might even be like a late season addition for somebody, And then of course, Will Fuller too. I think Will Fuller might be even the forgotten man. He's had his injury issues. I think they all come with their pros and cons, but I think the top two that I would rather have in terms of, in terms of what the top two guys I'd rather have in terms of what they've done versus what they can do, I think it's got to be Jarvis and it's got to be Julio, right? I think Julio's a steal because I think the Titans went in full rebuild mode, right? The Titans went in full rebuild mode, and I don't think that Julio is done yet. Right, I really don't. I don't think that Julio is done yet. He's had some down seasons every once in a while, but I don't think Julio's done yet. I think put in the proper place, like I mean, for example, and I know it's a different sport, and I know people hate comparing across sports, but still, like even in basketball, when you put the proper person in the right position, look how good they could be. Look at D Rose as a backup, right? An absolute beast because he's not having all this pressure on him to be the guy that he once was because he's getting older. He's had knee injuries, right? Look at Victor Oladipo just in these playoffs right now. Victor Oladipo is out here doing his thing, right? Because he's had some injuries, right, as of late. People have been like, can he do it? Can he do, is he going to be good enough? Blah, 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 right? I mean, look at Oladipo. Oladipo coming off the bench has been huge for, who's that? Who he put for Miami? Yeah, he's been huge for Miami, right? That's been huge for them, him coming off the bench. So I think putting guys, and back to the football aspect of it, putting guys in the proper position. You ain't got to put Julio out there as the number one guy, but he still has number one potential because I still got to defend Julio, right? I'm not going to take my eyes off Julio. He's Julio freaking Jones. That's why last year I wanted to see the Ravens, if they're going to go for veteran guys, right? If this is going to be the blueprint, go for AJ Green, right? And I mean, after how the season kind of played out for him, I think people might say, I don't know, right? But for me, I'm going AJ Green, right? I'm going AJ Green. Question of the day is coming up. I'm gonna do it at the end of the video since I already got up into it already. Okay, so I do have a question for today. So I'll get into it end of the video. So for me, I feel like it's got to be Jarvis or it's got to be Julio, right? I think on one hand, I think they both bring good veteran mentality. Of course, Jarvis thinks that he still got everything left in the bag that he possibly can. I don't know Jarvis's stats right off. Let me look real quick. But like, I feel like Jarvis could really be a good option though too. I think if I'm not mistaken, he's younger than I'm pretty sure he's younger than Julio. Let me look real quick. I got it right here. Yeah, he's about 4 years younger than Julio, so he probably got a little bit more left in him. And I think he's a guy that you could sign to a long-term contract in terms of trying to build everybody else. But at the same time, I think the Ravens got to be careful too with having the guys that they have, right? Of course they drafted some guys, but just the guys that they do have right now, you got Bateman, Prochet, and Duvernay as the main three, right? The main three receivers. But it never hurt to have another guy, add in the Jarvis Landry, add in also add in maybe a Julio or whatever, to have those guys. They grab every undrafted free agent they possibly could, man. It's felt like, right? Like I feel like they really have. They come out here. Slade Bolden was one of them. Shamar Bridges, Trayvon Clark, all these guys, like so many wide receivers. Malachi Polk, Raleigh Webb, and then Devin Williams. Like, the Ravens have been going after wide receivers in terms of the undrafted free agents, and I think the biggest of the two would be Devin Williams, and I think Slade Bolden too. I think Slade Bolden could be a guy that could do a lot of things. But when you look at it, and I'm trying to think, I don't think I'm missing anybody when it comes to the Ravens depth chart when it comes to wide receiver. But like for me, I feel like the Ravens have an opportunity to really build their wide receiving core this season. I think they've had it before. Tylan Wallace, that's the guy I'm missing. I don't know how I was missing him. So you got Duvernay, Prochet, Tylan Wallace, and Bateman, right? Those are the main mainstays. They were there from last year, so you can kind of continue to add them in and continue to push them through. So I think when you look at those four guys, like I think Tylan Wallace is the one that's kind of the wild card, and that could be shifted in and out of the way. Prochet has shown good things, but Prochet just hasn't had the opportunities that everybody else has had, unfortunately. So I think you got to go. For me, I think you got to go after Jarvis. After Jarvis or after Julio. Those will be the two. Don't get me wrong. I'll be happy if they get any of these guys. I was hyped when they got Sammy last year, right? I really was. I was hyped when they got Sammy last year because, I was thinking it was going to be a big season for him simply because, I was thinking if he was used at a lower work rate that he would be, he would be able to do a little bit more. And he didn't, and let's be honest, he didn't really get that lower work rate because Bateman was hurt week 1 through 6, right? Was it week 1 through 6, if I'm not mistaken? It was at least the first 4 weeks, right? Bateman was out the first 4 weeks at least. And that means Sammy got pushed back into a role that I think he wanted to have, but I don't think his body is ready to, take on that type of damage like it used to be. So, I think it's got to be Jarvis. I wouldn't be mad about Will Fuller. Like, I think Will Fuller is the youngest. Is he younger than I'm trying to think. Is he younger than Valdez-Scantling? I think Valdez-Scantling is the youngest out of all of them, but I think Will Fuller could be a good guy too. But like, if you're gonna give me if you telling me that Jarvis is 29 and Will Fuller is 28, I'd rather have Jarvis, right? Jarvis has proven more, and I think Jarvis. And Jarvis really don't have an extensive injury history, right? He don't really have an extensive injury history. So I think Jarvis still has a lot left in the tank, and I think you gotta keep up with the Joneses. I'm not a huge fan of keeping up with the Joneses all the time, but I think this might be the one time you got to kind of keep up. Especially with the wide receiver position, you can have too much in football. You can never have too much. I mean, you can have too many quarterbacks because only one can take the field. But when it comes to skill positions, you can never have too much. Speaking of offense and the amount of running backs that the Ravens continue to sign. We got Mike Davis was signed by the Ravens today. How do I feel about that? The reason Mike Davis was signed was because they were prepping to cut Tyson, unfortunately. So I don't love it, right? I think it's good on one hand, brings in a veteran presence. If they feel like Gus and JK aren't ready, right? I could see that being a thing where I could see them feeling like JK and Gus aren't ready. So, okay, we're going to bring in some insurance, like, the insurance policy aspect of it, right? We're going to bring in somebody who's done it before, been there, done that, veteran guy can at least get us through until, so we ain't got to rush them in. But at the same time, I don't know. Never understood the Ravens' issue with Tyson. Tyson had the shortest leash I've ever seen in the NFL. I feel like the man just didn't really get his opportunities, and it felt like he was the best runner on the team. And I'll never get it. I'll never understand it. I'm still frustrated by it to this day. I think that ruined a lot of the Ravens' rush offense anyway. Devontae Freeman got going at the end of the year, but I mean, there's a reason why he ain't back. Because obviously, it was a 1-year rental to get through the crazy injury situation that the Ravens had went in. So, I mean, I think the Ravens are still one wide receiver away, right? One wide receiver away. I think they need to grab one of these guys, and it seems, unless they just like got it up their sleeve, like it's deep in there. I'm telling you, like it's deep in there. If they got it up their sleeve, that they gonna go and grab DK or Debo. I'm hearing that the Debo thing is kind of over, but DK still out there. If they gonna go for that, then that's fine. But at the same time, like one of my biggest fears too is they're gonna go sign DK, or they're gonna go trade for DK, give up a whole bunch of capital for it, and then it's gonna be a 1-year rental. And is it gonna be worth it? Right? That's my biggest thing. But I mean, I feel pretty good about what the Ravens have done in terms of the free agent market, man. It feels like they've been doing pretty well. They've been doing everything they needed to do, and I think they're going to continue to be really good. I think they're going to be exactly where they need to be when it comes to the start of the season. I think getting healthy is the biggest part. I think it's weird. It is weird, not seeing Hollywood, man. Like no Hollywood anymore. Like that's crazy. No Hollywood. But at the same time, I think Bateman can. I think if I had my way, I would throw Bateman out there. I would throw Bateman, Prochet, and Duvernay out there as much as I can. But I mean, adding in a veteran presence, Tylen's done a couple of good things. I think he's relatively unproven as opposed to the rest of them. But I think too, I would throw a Julio or a Jarvis out there, and let's see what we got. Right? Let's see what we got with these guys, because I think there's definitely some potential. Question of the day. Usually I start the video with this, but I was ready. I was just in the Twitter space, like I was still going from the Twitter space. Like you might as well just join me or something. So, who has the best fries? Right? It looks very similar to last week, right? Last week I said best fry shape. Was it shoestring? Was it wedges? Was it and I didn't think about wedges. I don't know if they count as fries, but people like wedges. Was it wedges? Was it curly fries? Today we talking about restaurant wise, bro. We talking about restaurant wise. Who has the best fries? Who is it? Right? We talking about restaurant wise. I mean, I just threw a couple of them out here. Of course, you can have like In-N-Out is out there. White Castle, you want to throw them out there, Cookout, all them, you want to throw them out there, feel free. Now, I've always been a firm believer. McDonald's is the go-to fries. I love shoestring fries in general. If I'm going to air fry them things, shoestring fries is where it's at. But over the past little bit, right, in terms of my fast food fry journey, right? Look, I'm getting so excited. I'm hitting the microphone. My fast food fry journey, I think I've kind of turned a little bit, right? And I think I've leaned a little bit more into the Bojangles style fry. I am in love with seasoned fries at this point. Seasoned fries is the way to go. Anybody else say anything else? We're gonna have to talk to you. You know, we're gonna have to have a discussion. But seasoned fries is the way to go, right? Seasoned fries is the way to go. And I think Bojangles got to be the best, man. Bojangles got to be the best. They ain't too big, ain't too small, right? They got to be the best. They got that seasoning, that perfect seasoning. And I'm going to be honest with you, a dark horse in the fry game right now, KFC. Honestly, like KFC, I like KFC better than I like Bojangles. I'm going to have to kind of think about this one a little bit. I think KFC is my favorite fry right now. KFC just came out with fries recently. Of course, they had the wedges for the longest time. And a lot of people in uproar about them wedges, you know, being off the menu. But for me, I'm gonna have to be honest with you. I think it's got to be KFC, right? I think KFC is relatively new, but it's that blend of seasonings they put on there, the seven herbs and spices and all that. You know, that blend of seasoning. I don't know if they still do that for the fries. They got a special seasoning for the fries. And it's very unique. And I think that's why I like Bojangles too, because, you know, it's a very unique style fry. I don't feel like I can go home and just make a Bojangles fry. I think Chick-fil-A does a good job with that too. I'm just not a huge fan of waffle fries unless they are from Chick-fil-A. Because I cannot recreate a waffle fry at all either. But I think KFC got the best fries. Who has the best fries? What restaurant has the best fries? You can say homemade, right? You can say homemade. I'm not mad at you for that. I'm not mad at you for saying homemade. I'll be happy with you. But as always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. Be sure to, you know, give us a like. We on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. If you are listening to us, you know, and those are the other platforms you can watch. You know, you can watch too. But as always, hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, it's been Flock Nation Speaks. It was episode